Ditch your bad habits. Be the best at everything. A mother, a worker, a partner, a pro. Make goals, stay driven, create all the time. Be insanely productive. Earn money, stay humble, live slowly, buy nothing, but also buy more. Dream bigger. Be present, heal traumas. Be sensitive, but not too much. Be mindful, self-realize. Be unique, but don't stand apart. And if you can't do it all, well, that's kinda low, so improve yourself.
How do you feel?
Chapter 1. Junkies running around in circles. When I was around 20, I discovered the whole world of self-help. I spent hours and hours of deep diving into it. I was so fascinated I can find all the answers to my problems. And years later, during pandemic, I got into content about creating videos. But I created nothing. I watched tons of tutorials and inspirations, but I created nothing. Have you been there? Because self-improvement culture, purposely or not purposely, keeps us in the cycle of consumption and daydreaming. And when time passes, it creates even more anxiety about starting. And I want to be really clear on this. Of course, there is nothing wrong about self-improvement, and it's really important to keep growing, to learn, to get inspired and so on. But it's really our responsibility to consume that carefully and consciously. And this endless consumption and waiting programmed me in this inactive perfectionism. I convinced myself that I had to become more confident, more knowledgeable, more stable to actually go for what I wanted. And I'm not talking about few reasonable weeks of preparation. I'm talking about years. We can become great at something by only consuming advice about it. Self-improvement is addictive. Especially when sad, we increase our dopamine by watching a motivational video. It really feels good at first. Or buying a new planner, or crafting a new morning routine. It kind of makes us feel that we already did the job we needed to do. But in the end, we are junkies running in circles. Chapter 2. A person who sold their soul to the devil for self-realization. There's this constant push on social media to improve ourselves in one way or another. And in today's world, where everything is so achievement-oriented, it's so easy to feel like you are falling behind. Self-improvement culture builds the illusion of a point where life is perfect. This idea that if we just fix our insecurities, overcome our traumas, and follow enough morning routines, we'll become that final version of ourselves. After years struggling with depression, I felt guilty for all the time I lost. I became obsessed about reaching that perfect life by optimizing every aspect of it. I did therapy, I did yoga, I took cold showers, I meditated, I started learning a new language. I took up a lot and scheduled my days to a minute. I found a lot of things that worked for me, but it didn't feel really organic. My life felt somehow like a checklist or something. I didn't feel proud of myself. I felt exhausted. The more I changed or the more I improved myself, I saw more things that are wrong with me. And I realized that I was improving myself not because of self-love, but because of insecurity and self-doubt. The thing about self-improvement that it often starts from pain. We feel unworthy or broken and believe if we fix ourselves enough, the pain will go away. But trying to fix ourselves into that perfection will only let us down and deeply exhaust us. All of this made me forget myself, made me feel a person who sold their soul to the devil for self-realization. Chapter 3. A child who feels guilty for being abused. If we don't recognize the stressors of self-improvement culture, it can really easily lead us to depression and burnout. We abuse ourselves for a hope of self-realization. And so what happens when life gets in our way? Like we can't catch up with that checklist we have. Usually it comes guilt and disappointment for not catching up, for not improving ourselves quickly enough. And that brings even worse feelings like low self-worth. And in the end, you think that you were right, you are flawed, you are failed, and you need fixing. How about relaxing for a moment and taking a warm shower? Or taking a nap in the middle of the day? Relaxing? How about balance? Burnout is a sign of self-abuse, and healing from a burnout takes a lot of time. It leaves with us more pain and guilt. Friends, self-improvement is not gonna poison us, but we definitely have to keep a very close attention when this process is turning into exhaustion. Chapter 4. The earth has seasons, so do you. One of the things that helped me to step out from this self-improvement noise was, well, as simple as that, is stepping out of it, stepping from this whole world of social media. I don't have news or social media apps on my phone. I check my social media every other day on my computer. I read news. I'm still sometimes watching too much YouTube, but one step at a time. I take inspiration from other people's routines, but I'm not so radical anymore, and I rather keep my own rhythm. I realize I need more silence and more time doing nothing to actually figure out what I want and what I need. I got out from inactive perfectionism about a year ago. After years and years of waiting to start making videos, I promised myself that, okay, no matter what, I'm gonna make a video every 3 weeks. And I didn't have time anymore to think too much about, oh, is it good enough? Should I learn more? Should I improve myself? Should I wait? No, like, we shouldn't give ourselves too much time to think about those things. Of course, everyone is different, but usually we just have to put ourselves out and do things instead of waiting to be good enough to start. Our lives have seasons. In some we are blooming, in others maturing, in some we decay, and others hold us still. Any kind of self-improvement or change we are aiming to achieve, we have to do it from our own will and with self-love, not with self-hate. And yes, sometimes we need that high-paced, productive, learning life, but not all of us and not all the time. Let's not obsess about this whole fear of missing out. You know, whether we want it or not, we are always growing, and people were improving themselves their whole lives even before self-improvement was a thing. We should constantly always learn from each other. That's like the best resource we have. But we should never ever forget to listen to ourselves first.